The Mannin Line with Andy Wint.
Faster by, good afternoon. We're on Open Line, Mannin Line today. Sadly, the Chief Minister is still under the weather. So we'll reschedule that to the new year. So it's you and me for our final Mannin Line of 2024. Any thoughts on the year? Any thoughts for Christmas? Any thoughts? Text, email, call or WhatsApp. You're on Mannin Line today. 7 minutes past 12, and first with us today, Robert's on now. Hi, Robert.
Hi, how's it going, Andy?
Very well. Well, the weather's a bit iffy, but, you know, onward ever onward.
Can't complain, though, can you, really? I mean, Christmas is coming. It's going to be a good Christmas, isn't it?
You bet. Yes. What's on your mind?
Well, I was just thinking about Douglas Corporation. As much as I love them, I think they've got to address the issue of limitations that you're allowed to have in terms of earnings. I mean, say, for example, if I was to invest in, I don't know, something quite lucrative and make 100% on what I was making, and I had, say, £25,000 in the bank, then I'd only just be able to come within the threshold of Douglas Corporation. But at £60,000, they said, well, you're not allowed to have that. You can only earn £30,000. You have to give £30,000 away.
Is this in terms of social housing we're talking about?
Well, they have limitations. I'm just saying, in terms of if you were to make it out, if you were to, you know, break the prison, so to speak, or whatever you want to call it. A lot of people have that mentality that they want to break out and do something different. Then the money that you earn on their limitations would only cover maybe a year or two, and then you'd be stuck. So
what would you like them to do?
I think they need to review it. I think they need to put up the earnings that you're culpable for up to about £60,000 a year, and then have the rest as limitations on if you were to move out. You've got to tell them you've got to be above board, which is fair enough, you would be. But I mean, there needs to be an address of like, okay, you need time to move out and stuff like that, then we're going to give you a certain amount of time if you pay the premium or something like that, you know?
So, I mean, sorry, just to clarify, we're talking about social housing. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
What I'm saying is, in terms of like, if you were to have the money to go into private housing, it wouldn't, you know, cover the draw, so to speak.
No, I understand. Yeah, there's a big disparity between, and then obviously private sector rents go up and up and up.
I think there's a lot of get-rich-quick schemes, so I think people are interested. But I think if you go back to the markets and just look at the basic, you know, price of, I don't know, coffee, price of Vicks, whatever you want to talk to, then you can invest well and you can make a good profit.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of like where they're at, I just think they need to address those limits, because people are very scared, especially with digital currencies coming about that they may be taxed and it may all go, you know, a lot of people could be kicked out, couldn't they?
Well, how are they going to figure out digital? I mean, obviously now Bitcoin, is it still above 100,000 Bitcoin? I think it is.
I think Litecoin's near 100.
Yeah.
I was wondering if Litecoin's actually going to replace maybe the some of the dollar countries and things like that.
We'll see. Okay. All right, Robert, appreciate that. Thanks for calling today.
Ahead of time.
Good to hear from you. Thanks for that. Have a very Merry Christmas.
Hello. I've got a cold, I'm sorry. It's Anne White. I keep banging up people about why all the Christmas lights finish at the bottom of Broadway. we're doom and gloom from there, right along the promenade. It's so miserable, and we're all ratepayers. Could we not have had something, apart from these dreadful, austere lights they put in years ago? There is nothing, apart from the Empress, that's well lit up. We have nothing. It's miserable. It's like Scrooge land.
Thank you, Anne. What do you think of Douglas's civic Christmas lights, or are they holiday lights now? They're not. There's a long time since angels have been seen and cherubs have been seen across Douglas Promenade. What do you think about it? Is it Christmassy enough for you? Obviously, the private sector does its stuff, and certainly Prospect Terrace looks very nice indeed. But maybe you can tell me what are the municipal lights like in Ramsey and Port Erin and Peel, Castletown? Christmassy enough for you? Text, email, call, WhatsApp. They serve drinks this way in the West End Theatre, says Dave. We were talking yesterday about the fact that they're extending the licensed premises, the licensed area in the Gaiety Theatre to the seats. That's right, you'll be able to take a drink to your seat. And lots of people, well, there was a survey. Most people didn't want it, but they're going ahead with it anyway. So, any thoughts there? I think it's great being able to drink. The staff just want to watch the show, says Tomo. No spillages on those exquisite furnishings in the theatre. We order our drinks at the bar before the show, then it's ready for you at the interval. No queue, so you've then got 15 minutes to drink a pint. We don't want those spillages. I'm surprised to hear, says Derek, Garff Commissioners say that 14% increase and the 25% increase in the last 2 years to rates are down to a new shower on the prom in Laxey and a new skate park. So in a two-bed semi in Maughold or Lonnan, you're paying an extra £500 over these 2 years for nothing outside of Laxey. We, says Derek, have reported fly tipping, graffiti being sprayed over the playground and not repainted in years. Also, somebody pulled over the dog waste bin and dog owners who let their pets roam on the street, messing in gardens. Not to mention derelict, dilapidated properties with abandoned vehicles and rubbish around. And work vans blocking street parking everywhere, all under the noses of commissioners who live in the same street. But because they build skate parks and showers in Laxey, they can't be bothered with the mess in Maughold. But it's okay to charge more year after year, blame it on COVID and inflation, while Ramsey do far more and haven't raised their rates at all, says Derek. Are you in and around Maughold, perhaps? Any comment on the performance of Garff Commissioners? Let's get to the lines again. Julian's on. Hi, Julian.
Hi, Andy. How you doing?
Very well, thanks, yes.
Yeah, good. You know what? Julian reminded me of a long time ago at the Cave. I seem to remember sticky, smelly carpets there as well from spilled beer.
Oh, crikey. There were, yes, sticky, smelly carpets at every disco.
Yeah, I remember when you first walked in, your feet would stick as you're walking like you're on Velcro. So, don't know about this. There could be some unforeseen consequences.
Yeah, you bet.
Before I talk about some positive things, you remember we were talking about Daphne Kane's Climate Code Red catchphrase?
Yeah.
And the book of the same name by David Spratt, who appears to have made a lot of money from the carbon credit company he set up, Carbon Equity. Well, I've definitely spotted a code red, and that's on the Western Civic Amenities statement on their Facebook page about the cost for taking household items to the tip. So it's kind of interesting looking at the percentage increase. So if you want to drop off a small under-counter fridge at the tip, that's going to go from £34 to £57. That's a 67% increase.
How much to how much? Say that again.
£34 is going up to £57 to drop off an old under-counter fridge.
Yeah.
So that's a 67% increase on the earlier price.
And does it say anything about, these big fridges that are around nowadays, the big fridge freezers? Is it the same for that?
Well, no. If you go for taking a large fridge or a fridge freezer, That's going up from £53. That's going to cost you 75 quid to drop that off at the Western Civic Community, which is
£75 for a fridge freezer.
Yeah, that's a 42% increase on what it was, what it is at the moment. You've then got the extra large fridge freezer, so like a big double American style one. That's going to cost you £131 to drop it off, as against 87, which is a 51% increase. So it's not exactly pro rata with inflation, that is it? 67%, 42 and 51.
The trouble is, Julian, when you get to figures like that, this kind of just says that you can only be green if you're rich, because you can guarantee lots of people will look at that and just think, I'll throw it off Marine Drive.
Well, the other bit that's interesting on this is, all of a sudden, I mean, you can drop a washing machine off. That's going to be 40 quid to drop one of those off. A tumble dryer, the same. Dishwasher, cooker, double oven, £40. So if you're clearing out an old house, I mean, you could be in for hundreds of pounds here just to drop them off. A large item like a single oven, a mini cooker, or a mini dishwasher is going to be £20. A microwave is £10. And even if you just want to drop off your Skybox or a DVD player, a VCR, an iron, portable tools, £2. Mid-size hi-fi unit, £5. A hob, £10. So if you add all that up, if you were clearing out somewhere, that's going to be
well. This is
cheap, is it?
This is becoming a profit centre. This is almost becoming a business, not a service, isn't it? Because the tip was where you used to take things that you were actually throwing away. And obviously the government would, or the commissioners would, take that. Some stuff can be recycled and what have you, but it was there as a service. It wasn't surely there to make a profit.
Well, I've seen some, you quite rightly said about increase in fly tipping, which of course is going to end up costing more because somebody's going to have to be...
And before we go any further, by the way, if anybody says I'm advocating it, I'm not. Don't fly tip, it's against the law. However, if it's becoming increasingly expensive, it will be foolish to think it doesn't cross some people's minds.
And, where you do have these heavy charges in certain jurisdictions around the world, it's not just Marine Drive style, it's just chucking it out in a back lane somewhere. Or, I don't know, up the airs or somewhere quiet at 2 a.m. So, I think this one needs to be thought through a bit. That's a big increase. That's going to cost people a fortune. And, if they don't want to pay all this now, doesn't sound very green, does it? It sounds more like a money-making scheme, like you said.
And the thing is that, it's almost as... It's not just a bit by bit, and we're doing it 2% this year, 2% next year, and within 5 years, you're up. But the trouble is to hit people with that, just like that, it seems like it's almost been done on purpose to get a reaction.
I know. Anyway, positive things. We've still got pristine landscape. No ugly wind turbines the size of Blackpool Tower or more as yet. So I'm happy that I can still have my freedom to roam around the hills without being told, you can't come in here because of the danger of blades detaching, like they seem to be doing quite a bit recently. Coal-powered steam trains still running, Andy. Good to see that.
On the Isle of Man. Well, I think they use. I think it's not vegan coal. It's some sort of eco-friendly coal. I think they're using on the steam trains.
Yeah, I'm sure there's an eco-friendly coal, right? The horse trams, although, obviously not all of it, but they're still going. We've got a full run with the MER, despite there was noises about curtailing that, so I'm happy to see that.
Well, they came out with it. Was it going to cost £8 million to put a cycle path between Laxey and Ramsey? £8 million to do that.
I'd like to see them do a cycle... this weekend with, 58 mile an hour, 65 mile an hour severe gales. No upper speed limit. So we're still a petrol head centre. The TT's good, and also we've had that extension for the MGP. I'm happy about all of that. The meat plant is still functioning, and we're still doing meat, eggs and vegetables locally, and I was very happy to be in Robinson's the other day. It'd be kind of nice if we could start doing our own chicken again. I think that might be a wise thing to do. we still got the Ben McCree and we still got the Arrow, despite noises that we were going to at least sell the Ben McCree at one point. So that's something to be grateful
Good job
for.
we didn't sell it, because we couldn't have charged Stenner a fortune to rent it for 2 weeks.
That's true. Yeah, that's recycling the boat in some ways. It's
That's it.
a bit like keeping your petrol or diesel vehicle for 30 years, isn't it?
Oh, and by the way, Vernon dropped a note in to say, if you're talking of sticky carpets, nobody had stickier carpets than Toffs.
Ah, yes, I remember it well.
Sticky, smelly carpets.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you can only, I don't know, they're pretty narrow. When I was in the Gaiety not too long ago, and it was kind of narrow passing people if you need to go to the loo or something. The chances of knocking somebody's drink over is fairly high, I would imagine. I don't know.
All right, okay, we'll leave it there. Julian, have a fantastic Christmas and New Year. We'll talk in 2025.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you and everyone that's listening.
All the best to you. Thanks for that. David's with us now. Hi, David.
Hi, Randy. Can I just say a couple of thank yous as well? Because I'm in a few organisations. The people, it'll save me putting Christmas cards out and giving Stu Peters revenue. I just want to thank Uncan AFC and all the kids, children, and all the adults and supporters. Just want to thank Uncan Pensioners Social Club, which I'm the chairman of as well. But I want to put some praise to a lady from Manx Care. I won't mention her full name, but Magda. She works for the Community Adult Therapy Service, who supported, I met her this morning with an elderly lady called Hazel. I won't tell you her second name, but I hope she's listening, and that's embarrassed her. And we've satisfied some of the needs she is at her age, over 90, to get around.
Wow.
And that's what we want on the island, don't we? We want government departments to engage in helping people along. And if everybody does a little bit, and everybody gets a little bit help, we can live till 100, can't we? We won't have to worry then.
Well, hope so anyway. Okay.
Yeah, and I just want to thank you as well. And the other thing too, there's plenty of people accusing me, you're my mate. But I don't even know where you live, but I've got your telephone.
Oh, the things people think, eh? Have a good Christmas, David. Thanks for calling.
Bye.
Cheers now. Right. Text, email, call or WhatsApp. Here's Tony B now. Hi, Tony.
How you doing, Andy?
Well, very well, actually. Getting ready for the Gales.
Oh, yeah, the Gales. I keep looking at this, and the other day it said it was going to be 60-mile-an-hour gusts in well, it's just for Ramsey Bay. And when I looked out the window, the trees weren't moving at one point, and I'm like, well, this can't be right, can it? I think our gusts are being inflated. And I don't know if it's in conjunction with anything, global warming or whatever, but I find it hard to believe that these gusts are real, because often I look out the window and they recommend it's going to be, don't do this, don't do that. It's going to be gusty. Yeah, well, it's been gusty for 2,000 years or 10,000 years, so why wouldn't it be gusty? But we don't have to know how fast it's going, because if we know how fast it's going, then the explanation is that's why the boat doesn't sail. Because it's gusts, it's not the wind speed, which is really weird, but I think it's very, very questionable, put it that way. However, that's not what I called for. I wanted to call to tell you, don't worry about your water supply, because it's raining. So I assume the reservoir is full, and we will not have any water shortages for the short term until the summer, and therefore you've got 6 months to enjoy water. Because for once, we're not going to change that. Why we're not going to change it, I don't know, but there's no hosepipe ban, because the garden is getting watered naturally. So that's the good news. The bad news is, I wonder what really goes through the government ministers' minds when they come on the radio and make statements that says, well, you all decided you didn't want to do this, but we're going to do it anyway. And the explanation was, I think that some people don't drink, but then if you don't drink, you're not allowed an opinion, apparently. I just give up, I do. I
can't see, presumably this is all about money. I can't see any other reason why they'd want to extend the licensed area to seats, to theatre seats, apart from to sell, a few more drinks. But really, if it's just about money, the problem is it has the kind of propensity to go wrong, and if it does go wrong, then you don't know what will happen. Particularly, if it's a particularly raucous show, it may be a music show or a performance by a comedian. You don't know what's going to happen, and it was never there before.
Well, the other thing is, of course, who's going to do the clean-up with the thousands of glasses and spilt drinks, and how much is that going to cost? I think it was fine as it was, but we've got this thing that we always have to change something because we think it will be better. Change the website on the Steam packets because we think it will be better. Change the website for Met Office weather because we think it will be better. I think we should stop changing things. I think we should just leave them alone unless they're broken. And if they're not broken, leave them alone. But the bare-faced cheek to come on and say, well, we've decided we're going to do this anyway, despite all you lot getting in there and voting and saying we don't want that, we'll just ignore you. That's not the type of behaviour by a government minister. The government minister is getting paid by those people who said, I don't want this, and ignores them. So I think she should give all the money back and resign. How about that for a thought?
Well, there we are. Let's be charitable at Christmas time as well.
OK, then I think she should apologise and stop doing what people don't want.
All right. Have a good Christmas, Tony.
You have a good Christmas, Andy. I shall talk to you hopefully in the new year if I'm still here and the gales have not blown me away.
All right. Thanks for calling today. 28 minutes past 12. Inflated gusts. Are we guilty of inflated gusts? There was a message in from Trevor who just said, ever since that bloke Michael Fish said there wasn't going to be a storm and a gale, and there was, it seems that weather forecasters are terrified of being wrong, so they issue wide-ranging forecasts just in case.
Merry Christmas from everyone at Manor Park School.
Conister Bank is celebrating a remarkable milestone in 2025. 90 years of proudly serving the Isle of Man, growing alongside our island's communities. To honour this journey, Conister are telling their unique story in a book, and they want you to be part of it. If you have a story, photo, or a piece of Conister's history to share, you can help Conister bring those memories to life. Get in touch. Email marketing@conisterbank.co.im. That's marketing@conisterbank.co.im. Conister Bank, celebrating 90 years of community, heritage and connection.
This old house needed new windows. This old house needed a new door. And with DPM Conservatories, we got all that and more. Now our bills are lower and the house is warmer too. We're cleaner and we're greener since we swapped our old for new. Stunning A+ rated replacement windows and doors, expertly fitted by DPM Conservatories. Phone 612 333 or find them on Facebook and swap your old for new.
Walk through the Christmas wonderland at Ramsey Garden Centre for a magical range of trees, decorations, unique gifts and much more, including the widest range of indoor and outdoor lights. Christmas at Ramsey Garden Centre, open 7 days a week.
When you save a little money, it means a lot these days.
If you're looking for bathrooms and tiles, you'll always find something new in store at Pacesetter. For surprisingly affordable prices and excellent choice, search online for Pacesetter Douglas. Or better still, visit the Pacesetter Bathroom and Tile Showroom on Harris Terrace and see the new styles in store.
You can get the best of everything, where the price is twice as nice.
The winning is now well underway on Manx Radio's 12 Days of Christmas.
And we still have lots of other goodies under the tree that could be yours between now and Christmas Eve, including £100 to spend at the Forge, an overnight stay at the Welbeck Hotel, and a Google Nest thermostat from KPMG.
All you need to do is listen for your cue to call and join us live on the air to answer a simple seasonal question.
Manx Radio's 12 Days of Christmas, brought to you by SpectrumWindows.im.
Keep listening for your chance to win this festive season.
The Mannin Line with Andy Wint.
12:30 it is, Friday lunchtime, final Mannin Line of 2024, and it's also the final Mannin Line trip into the Manx Radio archives this 60th anniversary year. John Moss will look back at the Summerland fire 51 years ago. And all over Christmas, John's going to be presenting a special programme featuring a number of the archive pieces we brought you throughout the year. That's Monday, a week on Monday, 30th of December at high noon at 12 midday in the Mannin Line slot. A week on Monday, John Moss and our 60th anniversary archive hour-long special. But for today, we're looking at the Summerland fire after Mannin Line has finished. And a couple of people just messaged saying, what's the Western Civic Amenity site prices again? If you want to take a look, it's wcas.im. Western Civic Amenity site, it stands for wcas.im, with all the new improved prices there. And just a quick word about Joni Farragher. Congratulations to Joni Farragher, who's joining the DOI as political member for Bus and Rail. She's going to be working with Bus, Van and the railway teams for the next, well, as long as it lasts. She's going to be working with them, and of course the leader of the Manx Labour Party. So congratulations to Joni Farragher of Douglas East, working with Bus and Rail within DOI. And Bonzo's on with us now. Hi, Bonzo.
Hello, yes. Going back a couple of calls, sticky carpets.
Yes.
In public places. Now, I came back to the island just before Toffs closed, so I did actually get to go there once. But stickier carpets existed than that. You remember Studebakers?
Oh, crikey, yes.
The horrid smell of long semi-evaporated lager mixed with baby oil, I think, from the pole dancers that used to appear in TT Week. It was rank. It was absolutely awful. But hey, we didn't mind. We were drinking and we were enjoying ourselves.
Well, it was that heady mixture of nicotine and stale beer.
Oh, yes, yes. Do you remember when you could go into a pub and you could cut the air with a knife? Yeah.
I think it was called passive smoking, wasn't it?
But yes, not much passive about it, actually. But yes, I remember when you could smoke at work. What a strange world we used to live in. Right, well, apart from that, and that then goes on to the gaiety, yes, much as though I agree with Daffers on many things, I think this is a damn fool idea. For all the reasons which have been given, and because we do it in the West End in London theatres. Yeah, well, the West End in London theatres, actors now stop regularly until somebody switches off their mobile phone or stops chatting loudly, unless they're looking at the television or chomping on popcorn or whatever. It seems to be that, of course, there's a whole generation that really hasn't been sort of educated in the manner of being entertained in public places, and just think that they're at home, so stick their feet up on the seats and have a beer, and if it's knocked over, you're somebody else's problem, that sort of thing. So no, I think it's a yes, Minister. I'm afraid that's a brave and courageous idea. No. Yes, definitely a no. As for civic amenity sites, well, there's a reason for that. Of course, we're in the budget process at the moment. So the budget is happening in February. So various departments are putting in their bids and finalising for the budget. So somebody like the amenity sites, Western amenity sites, will say, hang on a minute, why isn't central government giving us a subsidy for doing all this? Or enough subsidy for doing all of this? So what they'll do is raise the prices dramatically. And then say, well, it's because we haven't got enough funds. If only central government, like infrastructure, and environment, if only they gave us funds to do this, what's the climate action grant for? Why aren't we getting some of this money? So that's what it is. It's a political bid, essentially, for more money from central government.
I mean, do you think they've got a case to apply for some money from that green fund, from the... As I just said, they will look to their expenditures and other things that they want to do, vital things, that they want to do with the money, and they will say to central government, look, there's this climate action fund, and with doing things green, recycling, etc., and also all the other things, various major stuff. But this is one element of it, and they would say, well, why aren't you subsidising it? Why are we having to bear all the charges? We have swimming pools to keep going and things like that. So why are we having to do it? Why aren't you putting in a good share? Don't tell us there aren't any funds, because there's that earmarked pot. So yeah, I would say that's political, and I would think that perhaps other amenity sites may be following suit. Okay, all right. Have a good Christmas and a happy New Year. We'll talk to you in 2025. Thanks, Sir Bonzo.
See you in 25. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye now. And Andrew's with us now. Hi, Andrew.
Hi, good day to you, Andy. Please, I had hoped Alf was on. I was going to ask him this, but and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. Politicians, what are they there for?
To serve the public.
Represent the people.
Yeah. Represent
the people and provide policy and strategy for the government. And they're not there we're not electing managers to manage something. They're there to represent the people, provide a policy and a strategy for government, which they lay out usually in their manifesto. For what that's worth, nothing at all really. But what's caught my eye was something published by Isle of Man News. DHSC wants new £64,000 strategy boss. The Department of Health and Social Care says it needs a new head of policy and strategy. £64,000 a year.
My word.
Well, now hang on. Why? Surely there's a minister. There's Comin. What are they doing? They're obviously not doing anything that's putting a policy or a strategy in place for Manx healthcare.
Well, you would have thought there's enough people with enough brains in there to come up with a strategy, surely, without employing somebody whose sole reason is to do that. Surely they do it collaboratively.
Well, exactly. But the actual, from the top, this is what we need doing. This is the policy that you need to implement. So it's just, we've got no money, apparently. There's no money. And yet, miraculously, they can find 64 grand to pay somebody to come up with a lot of wishful thinking. It's all wrong, that. And the new minister needs to get a grip of what's going on and say, look, I'm here to provide policy and strategy and represent the people. And this is what the people want. Go away. You're the managers. Implement it.
Okay. Good to hear from you, Andrew.
So, just to finish up, Happy Christmas to you and to my Hungarian friends, Bulldog, Krachon, and to the Romanian people, Krachon Fericit. And I'm going into the Kaufland in Odahely in Transylvania to do some Christmas shopping.
Oh, well, as my favourite Hungarian word, Egészségedre.
Cheers to you too.
All right. Thanks for calling today. Right. Have a good Christmas and a New Year. Text, email, call. We've got lots of messages to get through today. If you were waiting for the Chief Minister, unfortunately, the Chief Minister is still indisposed. He's not well. So we're an open line. Final Mannin Line of the year. It's been a heck of a year, hasn't it? It's 20-1 now on Manx Radio.
Merry Christmas from Henry Bloom Noble Primary School. Waltons have hundreds of TVs in stock ready to go, from Samsung to LG, here on the island. Plus, a large range of main appliances in stock, including fridge freezers, washing machines, and everything your home will need from all the top brands like Smeg, Samsung, and Hotpoint. With special offers throughout the store and delivery and installation available, check out Waltons on Facebook or waltons.im. Or, even better, visit Waltons in Isle of Man Business Park, opposite Robinson's, for great prices and great service.
Corkhill Removals and Storage today. Loads big and small, day after day. We'll help you move, we'll help you pack. With a local or global, we've got the knack. So give us a cheer. Yay! Your movers are here. They do it right.
Merry Christmas from all the team at Corkhill Removals and Storage. Ho, ho,
675-495 will get your load delivered on time. You can be sure we'll get the job done. Click CorkhillRemovals.com.
Settle in for a tale of passion, jealousy, corruption, and the lady killers who entranced 1920s Chicago. Grab your gun, your best fur coat, and liquor. The Douglas Choral Union presents Chicago at the Gaiety Theatre from the 7th to the 15th of February. Book your tickets via villagaiety.com or on 600-555. Sponsored by DQ Advocates and supported by the nation's station, Manx Radio.
It is here by your leave, ladies and gentlemen, you can hear a sporting show of the very best of Manx Christmas traditions. From Wrexham Wraxham to the Qualtach and the Mer blooming to the predictions of the Leven. A range of Manx Christmas readings, poems and music, as well as your favourite Christmas songs. We'll be stuffing it all into a hearty Christmas pie of Manxness. Listen to the first of the Gullers Gag and Christmas specials this Sunday between 4 and 6 p.m. on Manx Radio with your very own Christmas crackers, Ruth Kegan-Gell and me, Phil Gorn.
The Mannin Line with Andy Wint.
18 minutes to 1 now. Juan's on now. Hi, Juan.
Hey, Andy. I didn't think I was going to get on today, but I made time to get on. So, I see that the sales in B&Q will be going up on angle grinders and sledgehammers for the new disposal costs.
Well, you just wonder. What they say is apparently this is down to the UK. It's DEFRA in the UK who've got an updated enforcement policy for waste electrical and electronic equipment being transported to and within the UK. Basically, it affects us. So it's DEFRA in the UK.
It's the WE charges, isn't it? But I went on. I was discussing this earlier on with someone, and when I looked on the internet for charges in the UK, there is no charges in the UK for any of these products that are going to or getting dropped off at amenity sites. So it's only us that's getting charged for this.
So now, are you sure about that? There's no charges for disposing fridges and freezers and TVs and computer monitors?
Correct me if I'm wrong, Andy, but I've done a search earlier on, and I can't see anyone that's doing any charging on this if it's dropped off at the sites. Now, there's another piece of information which stuck in my mind from a long time ago, and I don't know, I stand to be corrected on this as well, that when you bought a product, there was a disposal charge already built into the retail price of the product. Can you remember that at all?
I remember something like that, but yeah.
Yeah, and that sticks in my mind, and I've been trying to find that piece of legislation or anything. I just can't put my hands on it, but in the back of my mind there was something already built in there. But these prices, I mean, going for like a washing machine from like nothing up to £40 in one go, that's a big gulp for people to take in. Now, I mean, if they'd have done it and said, well, we're going to have to charge £10 or whatever, because there's a scrap value in these, so obviously it's getting sold for scrap. But to actually go with £40 from nothing, and of course the percentage increases that Julia mentioned before is really, really high, and I don't know how they're going to expect people to cope with this. Like I said, there's going to be angle grinders and sledgehammers are going to be sold, and Marine Drive's going to be very busy going up there to Manx Radio. And
you would have thought, the scrap metal dealers, there is some scrap metal in a lot of this stuff, particularly in the big fridges and the washing machines and what have you. But the one that strikes me is it's going from, something had gone from nothing to £20, I think it was. I think it was tablets and little mini computers. That's right, a monitor, a laptop and a tablet going to £14 from nothing.
From nothing, yeah, and washing machines, tumble dryers, dishwashers, and cookers, all going from £40 and from nothing to £40, which, like I said, there is a lot of money, and this is to do with obviously the wee disposal costs. But I'm just interested to align that with what they actually are getting charged in the UK.
Well, if anybody knows for certain what the charges are in the UK, then do get in touch, because and one thing that struck me is, you know, these big, you will know the big American style fridge freezers. It's £131 to get rid of it.
That's right. Yeah, it's crazy. And all this is going to do, and like we just discussed there, like you discussed before, all this is going to do is encourage people to fly tip. You know, the back streets already, the back lanes in Douglas have a mountain of problem. The corporation, we're going around with enforcement officers trying to find out who owns the TVs that are put there. So God knows what's going to happen now in these flats. I mean, the back streets and the back lanes of Douglas is going to be chaotic. But it was something I mentioned on here maybe a year ago. I mean, there is a certain electrical supplier in the island who was taking in products if you bought a product from them. And they were taking it in. Now, this was, and a lot of it, again, is to do with this here, whole green agenda and this whole carbon credits issue, which, again, people didn't know any about this when they started voting for the green issues last time. We keep talking about that. But they didn't know that this was going to be happening. Now, I was told on quite a good source that the last time they put a new contractor in for taking this stuff off the island last time, and all the prices went up. I think maybe it was 2 years ago, Andy, when all the prices went up last time, and a new contractor was put in place. There was a complaint put in, I think, to the government about this electrical retailers taking this stuff in, because they wanted people to be charged for this stuff, and they wanted the profit from it. So there was a complaint put in, and the retailer actually stopped taking the stuff in temporarily. So again, like you mentioned before, there's a lot of money being made out of all this here, carbon credits and everything. And like I said on this program before, that's going to be your new god if you're not careful. That's why they want to get rid of the old god, because the new god is going to be your carbon credits. We should be very, very careful where this goes.
Okay, all right. Good to hear from you, June. Have a good Christmas and New Year.
And you, Andy, take care.
Take care. 12 minutes before 1. A quick search, says G, says if you take items to a UK site, it's generally free, but councils charge up to £100 for collection. How many people have a large van for transport, says G? But free in the UK, but £100 odd for collection. And let me see, we've got Jamie with us now. Hi, Jamie.
Hi, Andy. Faster my.
What's on your mind?
So I think early in the programme you had a Maughold resident, Derek, I think it was, having a grumble about Garff Commissioners.
Yes, I think you are a commissioner, aren't you?
I am a commissioner for Garff, representing Maughold, so one of the 3 Maughold commissioners.
Right.
So I'd like to send out an invitation, really, to Derek and any other residents. We'll be discussing next year's rates, 8th of January, 7 p.m. in the offices in Laxey, New Road, Laxey. Please come along, hear the pressures and the cost pressures and challenges that local authorities are under. We can do no projects at all, and then people say, but there's no skate park and things like that, and there's a few costs, things like street lighting and things like that can have a very excessive effect on your balance sheet, if you like. We've got a few street lights going end of life, and they cost £1,500. We have to do it. We have to pay the MU to put them in, and you get 20 of those. That's £30,000 gone. So I just think it'd be really good if we had more residents sitting in the public area, listening to the decisions we have to make, the pressures we're under. Derek was quite right. We've put up rates, I think, 25% in the last 2 years. I would hope This year it's going to be around 6 or 7%, but obviously that's up to the board as a whole. But come along.
Okay. Well, no, that's
8th of Jan.
The more the merrier then. So it's the 8th of January, 7 o'clock. Whereabouts again?
The Garff Commissioners' offices, New Road, Laxey.
Okay.
I'm sure if they ring the clerk, they'll get more details.
Okay. Appreciate that, Jamie. Have a good Christmas.
That's all right. Thank you very much, and to you.
Good to hear from you. In the UK, most electrical companies offer a disposal service at similar cost to those that Julian mentioned, says that's WhatsApper. We need to realise we can't have something for nothing these days. There's always a cost. How about that, though? £131 for getting rid of a big fridge freezer. I mean, the biggest fridge freezer. And here's a message that we are... Just a thought about drinking at the Gaiety, says Addy. They might make money on drinks, but what happens if something kicks off? Volunteers can't do anything, so they'll need security, and that's going to cost money. Happy Christmas and New Year as well. Drinks in the Gaiety Theatre. Next is to hire security, more added costs. How ludicrous is this, the government? How wasteful and out of touch is the administration? It's only a matter of time before they'll be bankrupt. Well, have a happy Christmas. Thanks for that happy thought. Big John. Just returned from Vienna. It was a magical night with lights every turn, trees decked out, characters around and about, and music to raise your spirits. Una said, I returned to my lovely home. It's very, very sad. What do you think about the standard of Christmas lights? Well, what a year it's been. We've had some fun, haven't we? There was the news about the Southern Pool was going to close, then it wasn't. The Buchan School is certainly moving. Newsons was turned down once, turned down again, and they offered to give the building back for free. Hillside Dental restarted. The Braddon Roundhouse access dispute was on. There was a requisition meeting. They were talking about a new TT scoreboard, and they're still talking about a new TT scoreboard. The meat plant threw away prime beef. We'd talked about the Manxman's bad weather record. Manx Care's data breach. Didn't really get to the bottom of that Manx Care data breach. We had a show about the right thing to do about Summerland. Cav broke the Tour de France record. Do you remember that? Do you remember in the Southern 100 when Nobles was out of capacity? And that Creighton East bus service, the number 28 bus service, which is still under threat. We talked about the Triskelions, the Corony Village Triskelion. Knockalo's 3 legs Triskelion in fertilised grass. The Manxman had a bump in Heysham. We talked about eels and dogspur and polecats and ferrets and taupe. I've still not met anybody who's had eels to eat on the Isle of Man. There was a warning about measles. The Douglas lifeboat delay still goes on. There was the no confidence motion. Chris Thomas stood for Chief Minister. They told us the classic TT is back in 2025. It was good news that Ben McCree didn't fit Troon or Bruddock, so she's staying with us. Lord Street flats are going, medical cannabis is coming, and the Russian spy ship probably is still looking at us right now. In fact, hello to the Russian spy ship. It's nice to have you with us. Di said, Andy, why don't they be sensible and just have a non-drinking area and a drinking area, then you can choose where to sit? Also, how much drink can people afford these days? It's a ridiculous prize. In Jersey, another island that knows how to gouge its residents, they don't charge for disposing of electrical items, even American fridge freezers. I was down there 3 weeks ago and I got rid of one. Says 832, a very Merry Christmas. Well, that's it. No more Mannin Line till 2025, thanks to Chris Quirk and Howie Keynes who've done the phones this year. Thanks to you for listening. Have a good time.
WINT. 60 years serving you as the nation station. This is Manx Radio.
This is the final time I'll be dropping in to our archives, the audio record of 60 years of Manx Radio, to mark those 6 decades of broadcasting. We finish with an event which happened less than a decade after Manx Radio took to the airwaves. due to the quick thinking and preparedness of a Manx Radio presenter, Alan Jackson, the hour during which the giant Summerland complex on Douglas Promenade was engulfed disastrously and fatally in flame was recorded. It is horrific, the shock of those who have just come out of the building and turned to see the inferno. What I'd like to do is to use this last programme to pay tribute to all those who faced this disaster and very much rose to the occasion.
On the night of the fire, I was on duty as a policeman with my dog walking along Woodville Terrace Lane. When I saw the fire actually start, there was a small puff of grey smoke that came from a hut alongside of it.
There's absolute pandemonium here. The Summerland is ablaze and blazing down. There's absolute... The fire is spreading very rapidly indeed, and it would seem that one of the slot machines has caught fire and started to blaze.
I was leaving the building after being on duty from early morning at about 5 to 8, and my attention was drawn to smoke coming from what we knew as the Arnold Palmer golf links area. Now, in this area, the main structure of the building, it was clad in what's known as galbestos, pitch-covered galvanised steel.
Well, the fire people are here at the present moment in time, and well, the problem is now that it's really belching away. Oh, there's fire brigade at the top now. There's another fire engine coming along. Here comes the police now.
The public helped very much all the way through in very many ways, some at police headquarters. But what struck me was that the people that we were generally arresting for violence, for stealing, for poaching, etc., those were the ones that were helping the police and fire brigade, etc., with the removal of the bodies from the scene. It's always stuck with me, that has.
Summerland this morning is a scene of desolation. This normally busy area of the town is absolutely quiet. And as we stand and look up at the former building that was Summerland, it's a spider's web of twisted metal, burned and charred black. The concrete walls, even they are charred.
Part of island life for 60 years. This is your Manx Radio.